Hello everyone, and welcome back to Triple Gaming with me, Fletcher. And today we're going to be going over the first development diary for Jurassic World Evolution 2 that they released on Friday. But before we get into this, please do remember to like the video, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing for more content from us at Triple Gaming. So, what are my thoughts overall? Overall, I'm a lot more positive after seeing much of what they showed off. It's good to see some legitimate gameplay here, and to see many of the new systems that they've talked about actually in function, working. I do have one or two criticisms, like you'd expect me to, but on the whole, I may be ever so slightly a bit more hyped. Now this video is going to look at specifically just the creatures that we saw in the video, looking at the new species that we had confirmed, and looking at the new skins that we saw, and the animations. So, let's start with the new species that got revealed, and I have to say there was a lot more than I anticipated. Firstly, we got to see this mixed enclosure featuring a variety of dinosaurs. However, in the back and to the right, we do see a new type of low-browsing sauropod next to the Brachiosaurus. Now, assuming this is not a brand new species to the game, this could either be a Diplodocus or an Apatosaurus. Given how chunky it is, and the lack of the dorsal spines, as well as this base grey coloration, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this is probably an Apatosaurus. We then got to see the Velociraptor make its official return. We all knew it would be here, but it's nice to see it get quite a lot of show in this particular video, especially with its hunting, but we'll go more into that later on. Its model looks broadly similar to Jurassic World Evolution 1's, but I have to say that the base skins, if those are the base skins, look a lot better than the Jurassic World Evolution 1 skins that we got. We also got to see the Corythosaurus in this mixed enclosure. We didn't see too much of it, but it looks like it maintains a similar model and the bipedal walking that we saw in Jurassic World Evolution 1. The skin, with this nice green colour, looks simple, but again a lot better than the bland beige brown that we saw in the first game. Another fairly unloved dinosaur, the Torosaurus, returns as well. We see it with the same model and same skin patterns to Jurassic World Evolution 1, with these frill spots and the osteoderms on the back. The skins we see are a little bland, so I'm hoping that we get some really nice patterns for this guy, because I think Torosaurus is one of those dinosaurs that is a bit unloved in Jurassic World Evolution 1. While discussing the new environmental modification system, which does look very interesting by the way, we also saw two returning dome heads. The Pachycephalosaurus is returning, and we saw it with this very nice looking burnt orange-brown skin. We also got to see the return of the Draco Rex, with very similar patterns to the Jurassic World Evolution 1 version, with, by the looks of it, a very similar murky green-brown colour. It was good that we got to see all these new species in just one video, and in just 5 minutes we've had quite an expansion to the dinosaur roster. Now, moving away from the new species, I want to look at the dinosaur skins that we saw in the diary for the existing dinosaurs that we have already seen, as well as talk about that skin switching scene we saw with the raptors. The very first dinosaur we see up close, the Amargasaurus, has this really nice burnt terracotta body colour with this yellow underside and grey-green stripe. It does look nice and vibrant, but I would like to start to see some of the other pattern variations, since we have seen the Amargasaurus every time with the same stripe. It does look good, but it would be nice to see some other patterning here. We also got to see a slightly different Triceratops skin with brown striping as opposed to the black we saw in the species reveal, and in the background of the same shot we got to see the Stegosaurus with these decorative brown striped plating. All in all, I think both skins are a little bland colour-wise. I would like to see some brighter colours on the trike, especially on the frill, and I'm hoping that we can apply patterns to the Stegosaurus's body and not just its plates. But fundamentally, they both do look a lot better than their Jurassic World Evolution 1 counterparts. Now what we see next, which is the gameplay footage of the Pteranodon, was really new. Not only did we get to see it fly and some more shots of the aviary, which I'll discuss in the park building video I'm doing next, but we also got to see it with this really nice red, yellow and vibrant blue coloration. While I'm not a fan of the crestless variation of the model that they are using for this game, the skin is really nice, and it's good to see some bright colours being used here. A later shot of the Brachiosaurus here doesn't give us a good view of the skins, but it does appear that they have a similar bland and dullness to the ones in Jurassic World Evolution 1, which is a bit of a disappointment. I'm hoping that we do get some nice patterns to apply here, which we just haven't seen yet. The next shot, after we get another view of this murky red skin on the Brachiosaurus, does again look very dull, but we get to see the Stegosaurus much more clearly here, showing off its improved skin texture and the same striping in the plates. Again, the skin texture is better than Jurassic World Evolution 1's, and the stripes are a lot more defined, but the body coloration is a bit bland. The Tyrannosaurus skin that we see is way and above probably my favourite. This nice orange-brown with these stripes down the flanks looks great. I'm hoping that we will get some of the Jurassic Park skins for these guys, or at least some of the skin colour options that allow us to make reasonable facsimiles. Now, on to the raptors. We got to see several cut-in shots of various raptors with slightly different skins. First we have this orange belly grey backed version, followed by a grey-brown backed version, and then this brown-backed tan underbelly version. It's good to see these variations, but the three variations we see here are very bland and lacking in colour. While better than the original baseline Jurassic World Evolution 1 raptors, they're still nowhere near as good as the Lost World skins or the JP3 skins that we saw in the Return to Jurassic Park DLC. Given the much flaunted Chaos Mode coming to the new game, I'm hoping that these skins do return in the game and that we have the option to use them. Now, on to the new animations. I think it's fair to say that I've been a little critical of the dinosaur animations we've seen in the species reveals so far. This 5-minute dev diary did do a lot to put some of those fears to rest. The first animation we see is of the Amargasaurus lifting its front leg and calling out. It's a nice little animation. I hope that it doesn't do this too often, however, and it is just for one specific type of call. The next, and I would say a bit more important animation we see, is of the Pteranodon flying in the aviary before landing on top of one of the viewing areas. I have to say the animation looks very natural, especially as it comes to land and folds up its wings. We do see several other Pteranodons here resting, and they do seem to be doing it in a similar style, but I'm looking forward to seeing more of these animals specifically, and seeing just how free form their flying is. Maybe there's some mid-air combat with other members of the species, for example. We then see a new behaviour with the trikes. One appears to just be grazing when the other smashes it with this very heavy-handed headbutt, making the other recoil away. It's a nice behaviour, if not a little unfriendly. These little social animations are good, and certainly goes a long way to making the dinosaurs feel more real than JWE 1. My only worry is that if we see these behaviours too often, it will make the dinosaurs feel like looping robots. I'm hoping that we have enough behaviours to prevent too many repetitions. Now, after we see this, we see two different shots of the raptors hunting, in inverted commas. The first is them chasing down a Stegosaurus as a group, but that is all that we see. Now, there's a few things I want to mention here. Firstly, we're told that groups of velociraptors will hunt down their prey. This does make it sound like the velociraptors will be the only dinosaurs with pack hunting mechanics. If this is true, it'll be a very big disappointment. I'm hoping that he's just using them here as an example. The second thing is that we have seen this similar video clip previously of raptors chasing another dinosaur together in the marketing material for Jurassic World Evolution 1. Without seeing the whole of this Stegosaurus hunt, it's difficult to know if the whole thing has really been improved. Another thing we see is the same copy-paste attacking animation from Jurassic World Evolution 1 on the goat, which we've seen copy-pasted onto the Coelophysis as well. My problem with this is that, again, we don't see the whole animation start. We've been told that there won't be that awkward getting into position thing that we see in Jurassic World Evolution 1, but it's difficult to tell here because we're not seeing the whole of the animation. We're just seeing one specific part, the end part. And we have the same problem with the Trike and Stegosaurus fight. Yes, it's good to see these sorts of herbivores fighting between the species, but again, we have copy-pasted animations from Jurassic World Evolution 1, and the fight is heavily snap-cut. So again, we don't get to see just how dynamic the fight is. We don't see them meeting, we don't see them engaging in the fight, and we don't see them separating. We just see snap cuts of that process. I do feel really sorry for the poor Triceratops though at the end. just looking rather sad and glum. Kind of just want to go and give him a hug. I also want to just draw attention to the Torosaurus scene that we get. It does look suspiciously like these three are doing the same socializing in a triangle animation that we saw in Jurassic World Evolution 1. I really hope I'm mistaken, because seeing your dinosaurs in little groups of 3 or 4 standing around apparently socializing with each other, where it just looks like they're standing around an office water cooler, really unimmersive and not very... well, I wouldn't really call it socialization. So I'm hoping that I'm just a bit mistaken there, or at least if they do this, I'm hoping they don't do it too often. So, in conclusion, just looking at the dinosaur stuff that we got in this 5-minute video, I would say that I'm mostly positive about everything that we saw. New species confirmations, bringing back some old favourites of mine, and some nice looking skins. The animations look to be going in the right direction, but again, I'd like to see more of the animations with less snap cutting, so that we can get a feel for just how dynamic and less robotic that it looks. But on the whole, yeah, I'm a bit more hyped about specifically the dinosaurs in this game. In the next part, I'll be looking at the park building news that we got and the park management elements that we saw. So I'll see you in the next part, but don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more of us from Tricolor Gaming.